What's going on, y'all? We are the With All Due Respect podcast. I'm your man Moe, and to my right we have LadySamoan. And as we're continuing this series that we started entitled "The Protesters, the Believers, and the Concerned," as LadySamoan corrected me on yesterday, we have another person here to join our conversation. We have Gerald Morrison. He is also the first vice president of the Baltimore County NAACP, and as well as a chairperson of the Labor and Industry Committee as well. And I would like to add a few other things to that. He also started a nonprofit organization years ago called Dream Chasers. And from what I can remember, he's always been active with the youth in the community, from coaching basketball. He was a part of the union at the United Steel Mill, I think it is, or Steel Workers of America in Georgetown, South Carolina. Gerald Morrison, as well as something else. Let me add, he's also my father. And also, let me add something else to that as well. Not only is it Juneteenth weekend, not only is it Father's Day weekend, it is also his birthday weekend. So let me say happy birthday, everyone. My father, Gerald Morrison.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here. Let me straighten up a few of them. Wow, my chest feels like it's blowed up here. Straighten a few of these things out.
These accolades.
First of all, I was associated with the union. I was on the executive board of the union, United Steelworkers of America in Georgetown, South Carolina. I was financial secretary for about 17 years until I decided to quit, shop steward. Also, the mention of the Dream Keepers, he had that wrong. Myself, along with one of my buddies in Georgetown, we started a nonprofit community-based organization called HELP, which was Higher Education Learning Program. We started this back in, I think it was 89. We were successful in getting the 401k. Just by making telephone calls, we ran into a guy that worked for the IRS, and he helped us out. Whereas the people in the community, the lawyers, black lawyers, and them, they wanted money. But this white guy in Indiana did it for us for free. But that's what it was, Higher Education Learning Program. We had an office in the Dream Keepers building in Georgetown, South Carolina. Our main focus was making sure that the marginal people got a chance or opportunity to go to college. If you had an athletic ability, we was trying to parlay that into a higher education. It was pretty successful, too, for the while that we did it. One of the first programs in Georgetown, one of the very first programs in Georgetown that wasn't affiliated with the school system that was doing something on the outside. Right now, Georgetown, South Carolina has blown up. They got plenty of programs and a lot of activities for kids. Okay, that takes care of me. All right, I'm open now.
All right. Even with that, what you just stated, what made you always want to have your hands in helping itself, as far as the youth, as far as the union? As far as even what you're doing in Baltimore, what made you feel the need to do that?
Well, change. I grew up in the projects in Brooklyn. Grew up in the projects in Brooklyn. And there was this guy named, you can Google him, his name is Timothy Vincent. He was an activist. I think he got me involved when I was about 15 years old. I was trying to figure at 14 or 15 years old. I always liked basketball. He came to the basketball court and was telling us some things that nobody actually knew. And I was one of the guys that followed him back to his office and kind of took me up on his wing. He said, everybody always say, too much who is given, much is expected. So that makes you think that if you have a lot, you're obligated to give something back. But what about the people who don't have? You can still do something. You can still give back. Be active in your community. And that's what started it for me. That's actually what started it for me. I ran the basketball camps in the project for 2 or 3 years as a 15, 16-year-old. You know, the parents was coming to me, you know, wanting, hey, when the basketball going to start? I want my kids to play. I ran that, and it just parlayed into that, you know. Just wanting to, you know, you see something that's not going like it's supposed to go and trying to make a difference, you know, the union thing, you know, everything was just trying to make a difference. That's all. Yeah. Don't believe that to whom much is given, much is expected. It's the other. Everybody can do something. That's basically it. Timmy Vincent.
All right.
Yep. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Timmy Vincent in Brooklyn. Yeah, that's how it started for me. Baltimore, it's just the strangest thing. I moved from South Carolina to Baltimore, got into selling cars, and on the parking lot, I ran into a girl that I went to high school with. And I didn't know who she was. I really didn't know who she was. She turned out to be the president of Baltimore County's NAACP at that time. And I took her for a drive. She told me she was from New York, and we went back and forth. Yeah. She said, you know, salespeople will say anything to sell a car. And I was like, nah, really. I'm from Brooklyn, went to school in Queens, went to Richmond Hill. And she said, well, I went to Richmond Hill, so I know you didn't go there. And I was like, okay, let's get it straight. I went to Richmond Hill, and I played basketball. If you went to Richmond Hill, you should know. She was 2 years behind me. She was a junior cheerleader. Long story short, she came back and bought a car for me the next day. 3 days later, got me involved with the NAACP. And that was 18, 19 years ago.
And how was that?
Had me for, go ahead.
How was the NAACP back then compared to things now? Like, how has it changed? Like, what were some of the initial things that you can, some good memories that you remember from back then?
Well, Pat, which was the president, she was the one man or one lady army, really. She did most stuff. And like I said, 18 years. I want to say 18. It might have been 2001. But anyway, we just won a lawsuit that she filed back then.
Wow.
I mean, of course, it wasn't a monetary thing. We just won a lawsuit for housing discrimination and housing people not providing handicap accessibility to their apartments. We just won a lawsuit, a major lawsuit. Maybe about 5 months ago, it was on CNN, picture shots, all the whole thing. And racism. You'd be surprised. As labor in the industry, I've been answering the phone since I took the job. We have an office. Nobody's in the office because it's a volunteer business. We call in to pick up the phone calls. That's one of my jobs. And then I distributed the phone calls, the complaints to the committee heads and let them work it out. And then they get back to me and give me an idea of what's going on. Mm-hmm. And we've been getting these calls. People will just call and leave a message. You know, you niggers, and we're going to get you. I mean, this has been going on forever, but now it's actually even worse. Again, I picked up phone calls last night. I normally pick them up once a week. But since George Floyd, it's like 13 calls a day. So
wow.
Racism has raised its ugly head. Well, we know it raised it 3.5 years ago when this guy got elected. But it's always been there. It's always been there. There were certain parts of Maryland they told me don't go at nighttime.
All right.
Yes.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So as
some things have changed, but a lot is the same.
As it pertains to the NAACP and other organizations, which I'm not saying that y'all are all within the same boat, but I'm guessing y'all all are fighting for the same common cause as far as equality. And the organizations that I'm speaking of are like Black Lives Matter. And come to find out, we have Black Lives Matter, and I think, if I understood it right, there's a separate entity, Black Lives Matter Foundation, which are not the same. What is on your to-do list or on your board as far as what's going on outside of just answering phone calls and pretty much, pointing the direction this way, that way, you take care delegating? What are some of the things, the corrective action plans y'all have on your board?
Ironically, we've been working on police corruption, of course, for more than 2 years. Everybody's familiar with the great thing. That happened in the city. The city and the county is two different entities. So we've been working. You normally have like quarterly meetings with the police chief, and this has been going on, since I've been in the NAACP. Quarterly meetings. We figure we got a pretty good relationship, but we know there's a disparity in the stops of minorities versus whites. Working closely with the Blue Guardians, which is the black, I can say black, the black officers. That's like a union.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of keep us abreast about the numbers because the police chief won't. So we've been working on this here thing before the Floyd situation came up. Ironically, we just sat a teleconference last week. We had 2 teleconferences last week with the police chief. So we're working on that. We're trying to find a way. I mean, you can train police all you want to train. All you want to train. Just like Mike Tyson said, everybody's a winner till they get in the ring and get hit in the mouth. And it's the same thing with the police officers. You can train, but they will fall back to their first instinct. You know, they say you got to get to your muscle memory. You got to get them trained to the point where it's muscle memory. It's not reaching for your gun. It's reaching for your tongue. Let's try to talk this down. There was no reason for that fellow in Georgia to get shot in the back.
What are some of the I guess you would say, the ideas that y'all bring to the table as far as with the Blue Guardians, as far as with the police chief of Baltimore? What are some of the ideas that y'all would like to see put in place so therefore it can be executed and things are just kind of level off a little bit?
Well, first meeting we had was with the Blue Guardians. Believe me, man, these brothers is tight. These guys been on the job 32 years, 35 years, 28 years. They done came up through the ranks. But they said that the officers, now I'm talking about majors, colonels, lieutenants, captains. They saying the rank and file does not respect them, okay? So what we wanted to do, we asked them a series of questions. And then they made some statements to us and said, well, we want you to ask the captains, do you see systemic, I'm saying it wrong, racism within your in your ranks? And ask her that straight question. And we come to find out that there is. She said that she doesn't see it. She said, hold on, I thought someone was coming to my door. She claims there is there's a word that she uses, and it's leaving my mind right now. When you hire everybody, it's going to come to me a little later on. I don't know why it's leaving me. But what we want to do, we're targeting police stops. We're targeting police brutality, community relations. I mean, we've had a lot of things. I don't know, Baltimore has been on the news quite a bit in the last 5 or 6 years, either it's in the city or the county. But shooting unarmed, mentally ill people is out. Those are some of the main things, and of course, the profiling, steadily profiling people.
Yeah.
Those are some of our big things that we're pushing for right now. And as opposed to every other organization that's out there, Black Lives Matter, I think really we do need, because the NAACP is an old organization. If you take a look at the board members, there's probably 56 members, if not more. And all of them, I'm 66. I'm not a board member too now, y'all, not for the national, but but I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 66. We need young people to have younger views.
Yes.
And, and that's one of the things I think that's actually holding. They reaching out now. They trying to do something with the college chapters and the youth chapters. They got a big push now to try to get more younger people involved. Just like in church, if you don't have young people in the church eventually dies.
Yes.
So that's the same thing with the NAACP. They're trying to bring in some younger people with some eyes that are different from the eyes that are looking at things now. I think one of the best things we got going on with this movement that they have, and I say it's a movement, not a moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movement. I hope it lives up to being the movement. That there's no one leader.
Yes.
There's no one leader. If you think back, Malcolm, Martin, those were our leaders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they killed them off, what happened?
Yeah, we didn't have anybody else.
So like when we cut the head off the snake, everything died.
Yeah.
There's no leader. There's no leader. And I think that's good. So when all these factions come together, I think they're going to have a direct message.
And I think that one thing that we can see too, there's so many different groups that are coming from so many different angles. That's even we spoke with a guy who was drawing the Black Lives Matter in Spartanburg, and that's a whole nother movement by itself as far as painting Black Lives Matter there, and different protesters, and then to get everybody around the world to actually, start movements and different protests and different things around. It just shows that they are really changing. But I would ask too, as far as getting the youth, the younger people involved, do you feel like, as far as with the NAACP, do you feel like the younger people are willing to come in and want to implement the things that the NAACP has already established, like, and just work together? Or do you see more so they're like, listen, we respect the NAACP and all their views and everything that they've done, but because this is a different type of fight for this different type of generation, but it's all has the same, it's all based around the same thing, are they willing to kind of want to implement the same, or want to let you guys know, like, listen, we did this before, but now I want y'all to kind of join us in on this end?
Well, of course, change is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Survival is even harder. Okay,
yeah.
You either change or you don't survive. Now that's the idea. They got a lot. I'm serious. The technology that they're using right now they got a lot of technology from Barack
Mm-hmm.
that they're using. It's all, you got to be young in order to handle this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be young. So they bring in them in and they listening, and you will lose these young people if you don't implement some of these things that they want.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and so they have to listen to them, and and the young people are going to have to see results.
Uh-huh.
From what they imply, whatever they implement, they're going to have to see results. This is a matter of survival. I've gone to high schools and to register high school kids. Anybody at the age of 16 can register. You can't vote, of course, but you can get that registration thing out of the way. So you sit around there and you talk to people, and they're like, yo, who is the NAACP?
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of them.
And
so.
I'm sorry.
It's a mad scramble to make yourself known. It ain't like your parents. Like, back in the day down south, everybody in the church was an NAACP member.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sign up. My mother's time, my mother's 100. But things is different now.
Mm-hmm.
Things is different. So you got to get out there and you got to network with these people. You got to listen to them. They don't know who the NAACP is. It shocked me when I went to the high school, and that's before the Corona thing broke. I think we went to 4 high schools, and it was in the majority of the schools was probably 75% minority. Okay. And to talk to these kids, because I was shocked. I was like, oh, you want to sign up? Man, I ain't signing up. Sign up for what? I said, so you be registered to vote when you're 18. Man, I'll be 18 in June. I said, you're the ideal guy. Man, I don't care nothing about voting. You know, so a lot of people are not informed, especially in order to reach them, they got to be somebody that they can identify with, not me. I'm, you know, so you need young kids to go out to recruit. Everybody wasn't like that. I ran into some really nice kids that knew some things, that had plans, and you know, the majority of them that were girls. So I'm hoping we're not losing our men. I don't want to fall into that fake narrative that everybody spew that is more, you know, males, you know, African American males in jail than they are in college. But I don't want to fall for that. But you know, I went through, like I say, 4 high schools. And the majority of people who signed up to register was women. But I had interesting conversations with young black men. And you tell them, like, you look like me. You look like my kids. You know, I'm not thinking you're going to be a knucklehead, but you don't have to be a knucklehead to have a problem with law enforcement in this society that we live in right now.
And I think
you don't have to be a knucklehead.
And I think a lot of that have changed because now with them seeing the George Floyd thing, I think a lot of kids did not think about it and they didn't pay attention to it. But now that everything is so televised and we got so many different things going on and they're seeing it, now that they're actually coming forth as a generation, they're actually coming together and making these changes. And one other question that I do have as well, being that they are actually coming together with protesting and, you know, all the things that have been happening around the world, we have been seeing some changes being made, which is a little different from, you know, back in the day with the NAACP and different things. They have actually made some changes. So, and it's been quick that some companies are standing up. You have a lot of different allies that are standing together and saying, listen, we support Black lives and we want to stand on the front lines with Black people. Like, how have that been for you to actually experience that, being that, you know, when you joined the NAACP, I'm pretty sure this time it's been different. You probably didn't see much Caucasians stand on the front line, but now, just like in Greenville, they said, we need y'all, and they're like, we're here, we got you. To see that, how has that been for you to actually witness that?
Well, it's like you said, it's different. Now, the quick response from all these corporations and everything is not what we need fixed. I like them standing for us. I like everybody. I love it. Yeah, they're not afraid to speak it, as opposed to, I'll tell you an example. I've worked in plenty of places. I never got a donation from any place that I worked at from the company. I probably worked at 5 or 6 different dealerships, even the Lexus store, where we know 55% of their business is minorities.
Wow.
And I worked there, and they would not give, I want to know what the story is now, but they would not give a donation. You know, the salespeople, myself and a few salespeople, we would take out our ads in the books and get a little bit of business. But 55% of your business, that's every day we go around the back, and there's more people that look like us back there than there is white folk. I mean, and believe me, white folk was buying them, coming to pay cash, but they made most of their money off of the minorities. So things are changing. They're changing rapidly. But to change people's minds, it's going to be harder.
Yes.
These are easy fixes. I don't want everybody to lose focus of the big one. You know, because, you know, I've been having this conversation with the police, law enforcement, with your husband and my sons for years. Tinted windows on your car, roll your windows down, turn your light on, especially at night, so they can see inside the car. You know, these are conversations, and I've spoken to some people. I got a lot of white friends, I worked at the steel mill. I got a lot of white friends up here. And I said, these are conversations you've never had with your kids. You never thought about it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't tense up. Even me, as old as I am, I'm hoping that a police officer would stop me and act crazy. But I'm scared. I'm still scared. You know, so like I said, things are changing. But to change people's minds, we're going to have a conversation with white folk to let them realize by joining us, you're not losing you're actually gaining a piece of yourself back. You're gaining a piece of yourself back. There's no way in the world you can't tell me that you can't identify with what I'm feeling. You know, I love this thing, this lady, I can't think of her name, when she did the classroom thing. You might know of it, Courtney, what she did in her classroom. And she asks, is anybody in here who would like to take the place of a black person?
Yes.
Put your hand up.
I seen that YouTube clip. Yes, I seen it.
That is so, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that.
That's
clip.
just basically it. Nobody in this, so you know what it's like. Why do you stand for it? You know, all the stuff that's coming up now. They say June 10th. I've known about that forever, but that's just some of it.
Yeah.
What about the gator baiting? You know, the gator baiting, where they use babies for gator bait because the baby makes noise. You never heard of that?
No,
never heard of that.
Oh, that's deep on this, in the especially where we live at, because of all the water down there. Guys used to come. It's so many things they used to do.
Yeah,
you know, there's a reason why there's a reason why they didn't want us to read.
And that's the thing
but
too.
Again,
I'm sorry. Somebody said we have to rewrite history. Somebody said that, and not rewrite history. We need to tell history the way that it actually happened. So I was even researching a lot of stuff, and even with we're going to be big on homeschooling the kids, and that gives us a chance to actually teach them the history instead of teaching what the books want us just to know.
And then also,
but will the kids get credit for that though?
Oh yes, they will.
You know, and then once you start pulling back the layers of the onion, it starts to smell worse. It's not just the ladies who helped the astronauts. That was a feel-good one. It felt bad, but then at the end of it, it felt good, right?
Right.
You know, the ladies, the mathematicians, they couldn't figure out how to do it. They got, see, those were good stories that was coming out when Brother Barack was there. But those are feel-good stories, but they are terrible, terrible stories to be told. You heard what happened to Phil's father, right? Phil's grandfather.
Yes. I
Phil
saw.
Allen?
Yes. I saw the documentary.
Can you imagine how many stories is like that?
Yeah.
That are untold. You know, but families are holding on to him. That's his story. Phil put out there, but there's so many stories out there that are major. They are major. You know, the riot they had at South Carolina State. You know, there's so many stories out there. White people have actually made it seem like we was inferior to them.
3/5
and that they did everything.
Yes, 3/5 of a man.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, one thing Mr. Henry told me: you never see one white man go at one black man. You never see it. Yep. So whenever they came at us, they came at us 2 or 3 at a time. That was an old black guy that I worked with. God bless him. He's dead. He said, you never seen it. And it's the truth. You know, we were way better than them. They women wanted us. We didn't want them. That was nothing but trouble. But like I said, hopefully they allow you to, you know, because I think homeschooling is going to be a big thing from here on out. I don't know how they're going to do this thing with this virus in schools. You know, school buses, cafeterias, hallways, classrooms, the whole thing. I don't know how you can do it. I haven't even taken a look at that part. But But I think we had a good time right now. This movie is going to be fantastic as long as they keep moving.
Yeah.
I don't want them sitting around and saying, don't worry about it. They'll get tired and everything will go back to normal. No. Also, I'm hoping this is going to drive out the vote. There's so many things going on right now. The voting, because the suppression of the votes, the registering the vote, the census, all this going on amid this epidemic that we have. Hopefully, everybody's doing what they're doing, and they're going to register people to vote, and they're coming out to vote to remove this guy that's in D.C. on, I hate to say his name, but just to remove him, and then we can go in the directions. We'll still have them same people out there now. They're going to go back under a rock a little bit, but they'll still be there. But at least they'll know how America feels.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How people feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the answer. That's the answer.
As we've been doing these interviews with this right here series that we've been releasing, we were asking everybody 3 sets of questions, and I would like to ask you those same 3 sets of questions. One, I'm actually going to read each question off, and maybe you can sum it up in one sentence. I'm not sure. So, first question is, do you think that we're ready for segregation in 2020 as a community, as the minority, if it came to that? Because there's been conversations about that. I won't say the conversation's been loud, but there have been whispers and conversations about that. 2, what do we do after the protesting, the rioting, the murals, and these conversations? And 3, Will Smith he's been quoted saying that racism has not gotten worse, it's just been filmed. And do you agree with that, or do you feel, because you're coming from a whole different generation, a whole different era, do you feel that racism is at its worst now, or we haven't seen that yet, or is it just being hard? It's just being hard to digest this rerun of the same episode that we not a fan of.
Okay. The first question, you said separates, like black people live in one place and white people live in somewhere else?
Segregation, yes, sir.
Is that what you meant?
Yes, sir.
Now, I don't know how that's going to work because you got so many, everybody's mixed. You're like a football now. If you look at TV, look at the commercials you see. You see a black guy with a white lady, you see a white lady with a black guy, you see an Asian guy. You pay attention to commercials?
Absolutely.
Everybody's intermingled. Even the families, you're like, wait a minute. So, and now you got older white people, like they got their grandkids. They never thought that Becky would have went out there and had a kid by Tyrone. So Aunt Essie and Aunt Ethel are raising little Bubba. And he's mixed race. So correct. I don't think we can be separate. Okay. Even though they said back in the day separate was better than what it is now. But I don't think at this point we can. And I think that's the best thing that's going on with the young people. Because the young people see that, man, this is crazy. That's what they're saying. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. All right. To be separate. So I don't think that would work. Now, I forgot your second question.
The second question was after the protesting, after these conversations, after the murals, after the rioting, whatever it is, what do we do next?
Well, that's when we come to the table with something that we want. I'm tired of people talking about reparations. If you give everybody $350,000, the most of the dealerships, I hate to say it, but there's going to be a lot of carbines and a lot of Nikes. We need to come to the table. That's why I said when all these people that are out there right now, so we don't have one leader, we have a concise thought of what we want and how do we want to obtain what we want. I don't think a check in everybody's bank account is going to be the thing. Maybe some kind of tax breaks, maybe something with education, not just college, trade also, a certain amount. maybe give you a tax break where you don't have to pay, the tax that you have to pay. They need to come up with a way. So we just can't go back to everything as normal. That's what they're hoping for. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to come up with a plan. Okay. And more than one plan, because they're not going to bite the first one. They're not going to give us no money. And what was your third question?
The third question was, it started off with a quote from Will Smith. Will Smith said, racism has not gotten worse. It's just being filmed. I got it. Okay.
I got it. Yeah, a true statement. They're a little more bolden right now. They will do it to you out in the street. I can think of a situation, I don't know if I told you, but I had a buddy that killed somebody in South Carolina. And I wanted to get him some books to read while he was locked up in the jail. And I went to the jail, and they told me I couldn't see him. I had to go talk to the deputy, the sheriff. So I went down to talk to the sheriff, and he told me to sit down and take my hat off. And I said, well, okay, never mind. I turned around and walked out. And he sent the black deputy to get me and bring me back in there. He told me that the black deputy told me on my way back in there, and that's Mr. Woodrow Carter there. And he tell you to take your hat off and sit down. You take your hat off and sit down. I said, well, I didn't want to do it, so that's why I just left. So I got back in there. So this is my first experience with racism in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And he actually told me, boy, when I tell you to sit down and take your hat off, you do that. Either that or I'll put you in jail and let you stay there until I want to let you out. And there ain't nothing nobody can do about that. You understand that, boy? Wow. And then he asked me who my people was. This is my first run-in with Woodrow Carter. I think, you may not know about the guy who killed some people. He didn't kill him, but he was with some people who killed him. Yeah, that was my first run-in. So, and after that opened my eyes up, to the Southern thing about, But I think they a little bit more bolden now. They, you see these Karens and all these people who just calling people out and everything. Mm-hmm. I think that has gone, but racism has always been there. It has always been there.
Yes, sir.
They said they took off their sheets and they got shirt and ties on right now. They sit in the corporate office. They make decisions. They own the courthouse. They in the courthouse. They're lawyers. Yeah. Yeah. They make it, that's where it's moved to. Yeah, they had to. They couldn't just be this, running around at nighttime with your sheet on, burning crosses. They had to evolve, and they have over the years. They like the cicadas. They're coming out of the ground now, and they're making noise. And they're not trying to die off. So, yes, I think they just a little more bolder. They've always been there. But back then, they, I don't know if this was because it was racism or not, but I was on a union campaign, Van Camp Pork and Beans, matter of fact, down in Alabama. And we've always been told that when you come into these places, because most people know that the union is coming and the town doesn't like it, or the town is pushing it in such a way that they don't like it. So you have a contact person. I had drove in town, tired. I went to a restaurant to get me something to eat. First mistake I did wrong, because everybody knows the stranger in town. And I ordered me something to eat, sat down there, and the guy spit in my food and handed it to me.
Whoa. What year was this?
This is probably like 80s, 85. I was a union organizer. I used to ride all over the South, the band camp, pork and beans. At that, yeah. But yeah, so that's my experience with racism. You know what I'm saying? But it's always been there.
What was your reaction? What was your reaction after he put the extra seasoning in your food? What was the reaction?
No, see, that's when you know you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. Because I already know that I did. The first thing was I was supposed to contact my guy.
Yes, sir.
Every place you go, you have a contact. And he tells you where you spend your money at and where you don't spend your money at. Because no sense you spending your money somewhere that ain't supporting the cause that you have. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're going to take you to a place where you're going to be welcomed at as opposed to be unwelcome. You know, you let me order my food and everything. You know, I wonder about the water.
Wow.
I had the water. It gave me the water first before it gave me the food. But like I said, racism, man, is there everywhere. Have you ever noticed a guy you give him your money and he put your money back on the counter?
Yes, I've witnessed that before.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to have to change again because, and I can see them being afraid because they're losing their identity. It's the browning of America. That's the bottom line. We're mixing so well. We are mixing so well that they'll be gone. Won't be no white people soon. There'll be a minority, not a majority. And I believe that's what they're afraid of.
Well,
you know,
what I would say is we definitely appreciate your time. We don't want to take up too much of your birthday weekend. I'm pretty sure you got something else to be doing. So I'd like to say thank you. I appreciate your time.
Hold on a second.
Yes.
Hopefully you shut down. I forgot the word. The word I forgot was
You remembered, okay.
Damn.
You forgot it again?
Damn, I had it. Diversity. Okay.
Yes.
What does that word mean to you?
Diversity just means a diverse. Okay.
A mixture.
Yeah, pretty much a mixture, a variety. Yes.
Of colors.
Yes.
When you think of it, okay. But there's a kick to this, and I got this the other day. And then I'm gonna let you shut it down. I met with the chief of police. We do this quite a bit, and she had just came. This is a matter of fact. Next week to make it 1 year that she just have taken office. But when we went to meet her, she said she believes in diversity, and we was like, yeah, okay, that sounds okay. And a little white lady, man, she's about 4'11". You know, she's a big chief. And she's gay. I don't have a problem with that, but I'm just pointing that out. So she said diversity to her does not mean black, brown, yellow, white. All right, and I'm saying, okay, what does it mean? And then she flipped it and she said, I see a diverse force as handicapped, okay, physically challenged, disabled. That is a diverse. I was like, whoa. So this is what we in for. We ain't gonna be so much LGBT. She said the whole thing. It ain't just based on your race. And that's what she has actually implied. And she has applied that to her hiring practices. So we can't say that she doesn't have a diverse one. So I'm saying this. You got to listen to the way they use that word, diversity. Because it doesn't mean that everybody is ethically different. It could be physically different. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's the closeout, diversity. Never forget that.
Appreciate your time, man. Happy Father's Day in advance. Happy birthday. Happy Juneteenth. And as usual, love you. And please be safe, all right?